ongoing endeavor. So the attempt failed, well-intentioned and we thought well thought out as it was. That being said, as a result of that failure to get useful data upon which actions could be further determined, the MNRF is at the moment, at least at the staff level, taking the position that there is no immediate point and there could be in fact damage to the environment taken by proceeding to cap what is expected to be a well underwater, although we still can't prove that. They want to take a different approach and consult some experts to look at different ways to possibly remediate this situation. At any rate, at this point in time, if you're looking for the glass half full, it's highly unlikely that we're going to be ordered to remediate the well because they're taking the position that that may cause more harm than good by opening up the land, the ground, that there's highly likely to, maybe not highly likely, that it's foreseeably likely that that would result in a whole bunch of gas sort of rushing out and without any specific way to control that. Accordingly, at the moment, we're waiting to hear back from them on what a more specific plan and vision might be. We are specifically, this afternoon, we submitted our request to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry to meet with them and speak with them at AMO in Ottawa in August. So certainly we hope to be successful on that front, to speak directly with the political leadership with which we now have some area and regional connection. So that's the update. Based on the best information now available at the moment, capping that well, we are told, seems like taking the steps to cap that well seem unwise because it could possibly cause harm as opposed to reduce it. And that's the update I have with respect to Forestry Farm Road. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions about that? No? Okay, we'll move on to far right, Ms. Robinson.
Nothing else today, thank you.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay.
Nothing as well.
Deputy Clerk's office? No. Okay, we'll move on to Councillor Geisens. Nothing? Councillor Sonnenberg. Wells.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I will not be here, I don't think, next Tuesday. And with that in mind, I'd like to make a comment about an item that will come up in the minutes for next Tuesday, but since I won't be here, I'd like to make it now, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
And it deals, of course, with Meisner Dam. And the issue that I heard great news this morning on the radio, as many of you did if you listened to the local radio station, that our MVP, Toby Barrett, has been appointed to be in the Natural Resources Ministry as the second in command. And he made two comments on the radio this morning. One, he may be able to help us with Meisner Dam. And two, that he may be able to help us with getting permission to repair the dam, as well as something to do with natural gas. So I look forward to the help of our MPP. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Black.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And you'll see on your desk, ask the Clerk's Department to copy this information about naloxone and opioids. And I got this by going to a talk that was presented by Rolstons and Blair Snow. And it's the Anglican Church across the road here. We're concerned about the increased use of opioids, in particular in the downtown, their close proximity to it, and thought that they would wanted to learn more, so they invited Blair Snow over, and he gave a talk and an update on opioid use. So I thought this might be interesting for council just to have a look at for information. Secondly, last week I attended this council chambers where our economic development department and their new program called well, it's the second year, I guess, Student Startup Program. And Mayor Luke did the initial welcoming and of all the kids that were involved in this. Chris Garwood, Clark Hoskins, presented to all of the various students, their incentives, and it was very encouraging to see so many young entrepreneurs and so many different innovative ideas that they came up with. So it's, I think it's an excellent program to encourage, our youth to get involved in entrepreneurship, because it's certainly a different way of thinking, and you have to be a different type of individual, and very proactive, innovative, creative. So it's good to see that there's so many kids out there in Norfolk County doing this, and they were representative from all across Norfolk County. Lastly, the Norfolk Historical Society is still functioning. They were connected with the Everbrook Donnelly Museum, but the group is still out there promoting history, and they have a guided historical tour of downtown Simcoe for them, starting in July 14th and 28th, August the 12th and 19th. You'll be meeting at the Carolyn Tower, and it's only, all they're looking for is donations, so otherwise it's free, and it's a walking tour, and you need to make sure you wear comfortable shoes, and it's be ready for the ups and downs of Norfolk County sidewalks.
Okay. Councilor Brunton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two things. One, a couple weeks ago, we got into the One Fund, and I was told we were going to get a copy of the agreement of what we are with, or what we have with the One Fund. And I assume the mayor and the clerk of the day signed that agreement. We were told we could get that. That's the first issue. Second one, Mr. Chairman, if I may, to our county manager, could we get an update? I'd asked about the Port Dover Medical Clinic and the financials, how we're doing there over about a year now, where that's going. Like I asked a report that might be forthcoming.
We can probably provide, sorry, excuse me. If you're interested in a very quick answer, I'm sure we can provide, we have 48 hours of writing time between now and your last meeting before the summer break. So if you'd accept a very quick sort of email or memorandum, we can provide you with some information next week. Failing that, we can provide a fulsome report, but that'll be the fall.
After our break?
Those are sort of what we're left with now.
That's fine. I think it's...
In that case, be happy to provide you with a fulsome report probably the first week of September.
That's fine.
Our pleasure.
Okay. You got your answers?
Yep.
Good. Councilor Oliver. Mayor Luke.
Two things, Mr. Chair. First of all, I would like to thank Councilor Wells and his family for their hospitality on Sunday. It was a warm day, but it was a great day in Port Dover, the July 1st celebrations, and particularly the parade and the good time we had at your residence. Much appreciated, and very kind of you. Secondly, I want to ask about Hastings Drive, Mr. Chair. I don't know if staff can answer this. We've had an order from the OMB, a decision on April the 16th, something we've been waiting for to get this wrapped up for probably now about 4 years, actually longer, but certainly. So I guess what I'm really wondering is what are the timelines? When are we going to start enforcing things on Hastings Drive? I really don't know. Maybe I've missed something here with council. Maybe I've missed something, Mr. Chair, but does someone know when this is going to be addressed? Because I certainly am not aware of any timeline that things will things will get done there that need to be done. So I don't know if there's a staff person here that can answer this, but I have three people who continue, and I get it. I get their continuation of asking, we've been through the ordeal, decisions been made, where's the enforcement now? So, Mr. Chair, I would throw that out so I can get some information as to how we can get this cleared up out there once and for all.
Mr. Mayor, I don't think any counselor can answer your question, but I think Mr. Cribbs can shed some light on it.
Thank you.
Guide us on where we're going with this.
It's a very fair inquiry on a hot-button issue, and whereas I thank council for its forbearance to allow us to report back in Port Dover in September, I think this deserves a very prompt response, a timely response, given the nature of the issue. So what I'll undertake is that we will provide you with a report on next week's agenda, specifically addressing bylaw enforcement concerns vis-a-vis Hastings Drive. And we'll make the county solicitor and our head of bylaw enforcement available to you for question and answers in that regards. It's likely it will be a closed session report pursuant to the Municipal Act. But this time next week, we'll have your answers. Very good.
I thank our CAO for that response, Mr. Chair. I am a patient person. I know sometimes I don't sound like it, but I am a patient person, and that's a fair answer. And I look forward to the closed session report so that I can give people some information to address their concerns. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we covered everybody. Councilor Wells?
If it's a closed session report, which I understand, and the mayor is going to give people information, does that work together?
I'm sure that was an imperfect turn of phrase, but that being said, as is our normal habit, information that needs to be presented in closed typically is, but we come out and we release as much as we can, and that will always be our approach. And although for the context it requires closed session to give you fulsome answers, there should be some parts we can release in the public domain, and we will do so.
Okay. Yes, I'm the last one to speak here. I have one question, Mr. Cridlin. Not getting off that easy tonight, but I have a simple question. Is there a gypsy moth problem out there this year? Because I've noticed driving down some of the concession roads in Charlottesville, there's this gob falling out of the trees. And some trees are defoliated. So years ago, I know when Steve Shears was here, we used to get long reports about the gypsy moth, whether we should spray or not. Where are we with that? Is there an issue out there?
Through the chair to county council, yeah, in talking to Adam Biddle, the superintendent or supervisor of forestry, they're monitoring and numbers are presently up. So with that said, there is a timing window for spraying, and as staff monitor, if we need to do another county-wide spraying program as we did a number of years ago, there'll definitely be a report to council, but maybe we'll get Adam supply even an information memo for next week to bring council up to date where we are on that. We are monitoring though.
When would that spray program, when did it take place years ago? What time of year?
I believe it was in the spring, an April-May spray.
So we missed the...
We've missed the window for 218, yes.
Okay. Councilor Black?
Thanks for asking that question, because I've been monitoring that myself. And I've seen it when it was really bad, and it is devastating. As you like, these things eat your trees alive. And ever since I've been watching, I really observed of the packets. And I haven't seen a lot of the egg masses myself, but they are present, and you can hear them at night. And I've heard the difference between when they're really bad and when they're not so bad. They're not so bad yet, at least where I've been observing them. And you can hear it's like rain at night, because it's the droppings of the gypsy moths. They're eating through, and they cut the leaf. You know, they cut the leaf, and you can see the leaf pieces also on the ground, on the road, and you can hear it like rain. And when it's really bad, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's raining. And it is. It's raining gypsy moth droppings.
Okay. So that's the end of our meeting. Thank you for your cooperation to staff and council. Appreciate it.